Well, our defence and security analyst Michael Clark is here. Well, Michael, this is awful. I mean, utterly horrific that this is happening in Europe in the 21st century.
Yes, we've seen this sort of thing with ISIS, the jihadist movement in Syria and Iraq in the last few years. And this, from all accounts, looking at the descriptions of what this video contains, which I haven't looked at, seems to have been a very ISIS-style thing. It's done with a short knife, took a long time to occur, somebody being held on the ground while it happened. It's horrible. It's not unprecedented in the world, sadly, but it is unprecedented in Europe. And there's some good advice out there online, actually, saying that if you don't look around for this thing, don't look at it out of idle curiosity or morbid interest. Unless you're a professional, unless you're used to it, don't look at it, because actually it will adversely affect you. And that's true with all of these awful videos.
Yeah, good advice. What are the chances of finding the perpetrators?
The reasonable chance of identifying the perpetrators, because, as I understand it, there's quite a lot of forensic evidence available in these clips, but the chances of pinning it down to a certain person, but the unit that might have been involved and the time in which it took place seems to have been during the summer. There's quite a lot of foliage around, so this has been around for a while, and we do know that this video, and some others like it, has been circulating in military channels, Wagner channels certainly, for some time. It's only now popped up on Telegram, and it's now close to Russian mainstream media. And of course, there's all sorts of commentary in mainstream media saying, well, this sort of thing is going to happen, and a good thing too. And so it's unleashed a new sort of level of barbarity in this war, I'm afraid.
Utterly hideous. Stay with us, Michael. The Ministry of Defence has claimed that a leak of top-secret US documents suggesting UK special forces have been operating in Ukraine display a serious level of inaccuracy. Despite that, US officials appear to have confirmed the authenticity of the files, or some of them, with the CIA director describing the leak as deeply unfortunate. The US Secretary of Defence said a criminal investigation had been launched into the leak of the documents.
I was first briefed on the reports of unauthorized disclosure of sensitive and classified material on the morning of April 6th. And since then, I've been convening senior department leaders daily on our response, and I've directed an urgent cross-department effort. And we've referred the matter to the Department of Justice, which has opened a criminal investigation. Now, I can't say much more while the Justice Department's investigation is ongoing, but we take this very seriously. And we will continue to work closely with our outstanding allies and partners, and nothing will ever stop us from keeping America secure.
Lloyd Austin there. Well, the Ministry of Defence has said in a statement the widely reported leak of alleged classified US information has demonstrated a serious level of inaccuracy. Readers should be cautious about taking at face value allegations that have the potential to spread disinformation. Well, as for Russia, the Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov has told Sky News Russia had been aware of certain information within the documents well before they had leaked.
Но даже если от них абстрагироваться, еще задолго до появления этих документов мы обладали и по-прежнему обладаем информацией о том, что многие инструктора стран НАТО, в том числе Великобритания, и бойцов принимают участие в боевых действиях.
And Michael Clark is still with me. So on this issue of special forces, UK's special forces, among others, what would they be doing in Ukraine, if indeed they are in Ukraine?
Yes, the Ministry of Defence neither confirms nor denies anything about special forces, and that's very sensible from their point of view. If they are there, and it may be, according to the documents, that maybe 50 out of the 100 or so there are identified as British. That wouldn't be surprising, because British Special Forces, SAS, the SBS, the Special Boat Service, and the Special Reconnaissance Regiment, the SRR, have got world-class reputations for these sorts of things. If they're there, my guess would be, and it is only a guess, that they'll be on reconnaissance, because what makes them special is not their ability to visit paralysing violence on the king's enemies. It's the ability to operate in small units, ones and twos, and blend in with the background, just to sit there without needing any other support for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and report what they see. And if they're in there, operationally, that's the sort of thing I would imagine that they would be doing.
And could this leak lead to those special forces, if they are in there, being pulled out?
Probably not. I mean, the Russians must know that they're there. They would assume that Western special forces are operational, as their own special forces would be operational in other areas in which the Russians are involved elsewhere in the world. I think this won't make a lot of difference. It's just that it raises the issue again sort of higher up the agenda, and the MOD will just damp it down, saying, well, we don't comment.
What about the whole issue of allies sharing intelligence? Will Ukraine, for instance, be less likely to want to share sensitive stuff?
Yeah, that's always the problem with these leaks, and they happen every now and again. There's a spy scandal or a leak, and it damages trust between friends. And of course, one of the things that these papers indicate, if it's true, is that the Ukrainians were being spied on by the Americans, that Zelensky's own conversations were being reported through signals intelligence, not through human intelligence, but the Americans have got great signals intelligence, so they can listen to so many conversations all over the world, and they do. And that trust has got to be rebuilt a little bit. So when we think about the Ukrainians getting, the Leopard 2 tanks, what are they going to do with them? Of course, the Americans are talking to the Ukrainians all the time. But if the Ukrainians have got some other ideas about what they're going to do with them, the Americans would want to know if they could.